Hey, so I'm going to show you guys how I do my Cimzia injection. Although I'm not going to be on it for very much longer, I'm waiting for the approval for Humira. I just figured I would show you guys how I do this one, and then whenever I get approved for the Humira, I can show you how I do that one. So here's the Cimzia. So you can see, just pre-filled syringe. I have not yet gotten the air bubble out of here, as you can see, I think right there. So I'll show you guys how to get that one. So I need the injection, you need your alcohol swabs, and then of course I always put a band-aid on after I finish mine. I use the one with the antibiotic cream already on it, so I don't have to worry about putting it on after I do it. And of course you also need your sharps container, because you don't want those sitting around, especially if you have kids or pets, because that can turn out to be pretty dangerous. So what I do is I just like to lay back, and I did my last one on my leg, so we're going to do it on the stomach this time. So, sorry guys, I'm kind of recording with my tablet here, so trying to make it work out. There we go. Alright, to get all of your stuff ready, I like to just go ahead and open up the band-aid if I'm doing it by myself, which I am today. My husband is usually here to help me. So go ahead and open up the band-aid, get the alcohol swabs open. This isn't exactly how they tell you to do it, but what I have found that works best for me is if I wipe with one alcohol swab where I'm going to do the injection, and then leave the needle in for about 10 seconds to make sure that the medication doesn't come out, and then once I pull the needle out, I put another alcohol swab on top of it just to absorb any excess medication while I put my needle in the sharps container. And then after I get the needle in the sharps container, that's whenever I take the alcohol swab off and put the band-aid on. And with me, I also find that it helps if I take pain medication before I do my injection. You know, that way I'm just kind of a little bit more relaxed and I'm not in any pain anywhere else. So I find that that helps me. So let's go ahead and get started. So just wipe the entire area off where you plan on doing your injection. I also like to wipe around. So I like to do a very large area around where I plan on doing my injection. Just want to make sure that I get all those germs killed, because I have gotten an infection before in my leg from where I did my injection. So, see that air bubble right there? You have to make sure you have the air bubble out. You can't inject it with the air bubble in. So I just like to flick it, make sure the whole air bubble is at the top, and then just slowly press that air bubble out. Like that. And then make sure you get a few drops of the medicine that comes out. And then kind of just shake it off like that, and you're good to go. And also what I like to do is I like to pinch the skin. You know, just make sure you want to get into fat. You don't want to inject into your muscle. So I pinch up my skin like this, and then you want to inject, or you want to put the needle in at an angle. You don't want to go down like that, because you're going to go straight into your muscle if you go straight down. So, once I've got the needle in, I just let go of my skin. See? I got the needle all the way in there. So, now, whenever I do my injection, sometimes I can inject the medication slowly, sometimes I have to inject the medication slowly, and other times I can go quickly. And also, one other thing, before you actually inject your medication, you want to pull back on the syringe to make sure that no blood comes into your vial. If you do happen to have blood go into your vial, then you're going to have to take that needle out and start over. You cannot have any blood go into your vial because this medication is supposed to be injected into your fat and not into any type of vein. Not really sure 100% why, but I do know that it could potentially hurt you fairly bad if you try to inject it into a vein. So definitely don't want to do that. And then whenever I'm injecting my medication, I just like to sit back and relax. And with me, I have my TV on, so I just like to sit here and watch a little bit of TV before I start my injection. And I live in an apartment, so it's fairly small, but I also have a couple of bird feeders outside of my front window. So I enjoy just sitting here and watching the birds while I do my injection. It kind of helps me to stay calm. But I think the biggest thing is you just need to remain calm and know that it doesn't really hurt that bad. Whenever I did my first injection, I've been on this medication for almost a year now. And I remember whenever I did my first injection, I was so scared and so worried about whether it was going to hurt or how it was going to affect me, or if I was going to be one of those few people that has an allergic reaction to the medication. And being worried like that just didn't help me. It made the injection process a lot harder. So just try and remain calm about it and know that it's not really that hard. And the reason that I'm having to switch medications is, I'm not sure if I said this or not, but unfortunately my Cimzia has stopped working for me. Apparently I have built up antibodies to the medication. But if you are to the point where you and your doctor are thinking about doing a biologic, it's probably definitely time for you to start doing it. And like I said, whenever this medication was working for me, it was one of the best decisions I had ever made. Because with me, none of the other medications that I've ever tried, and believe me, I tried them all, none of them worked for me. So this one was one of the first medications that worked for me, and I got almost a full year out of it, which I was so thankful for because it really helped. So now, as you can see, all of the medication is now in there. So now what I need to do is count for 10 seconds. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then what I like to do is just squeeze my stomach again and pull the needle out in the same angle that you stuck it in there.